When asked simple questions like what his name was,
tase the hell out of it.
He was giving answers that clearly showed you that his mental state was not healthy. It was clear that it was a bad tase.
There you go.
A team of Marlboro County law enforcers ending their silence, revealing years of what they claim is interference and abuse from the county's top law enforcer.
I am absolutely terrified. This is heartbreaking. This is a situation I've never been in.
The man who led the sheriff's major crimes unit named an investigation after the sheriff, an investigation that brought state investigators back to Marlboro County.
Regardless of the consequences, the oath I took when I swore in to do this job was to the people I serve, not to the people I work for.
6 months ago, we launched our final disrespects investigation into Marlboro County, South Carolina. Since then, a deputy probate judge resigned and the sheriff's indicted. The state's now launched multiple investigations into the Marlboro County's court system and the sheriff's office. Just last month, it was the sheriff's own major crimes unit who took the sheriff down with a nearly 2-year-old body camera recording and what those lawmen describe as a climate of corruption inside the Marlboro County Sheriff's Office. Here's Jody Barr with tonight's Lost Trust investigation.
This text just came out of nowhere. It was the Marlboro County Sheriff's Office lead investigator wanting to meet out on this farm outside of McCall. And we're up here near the North Carolina line now. To be honest, it's a little suspicious. We spent the past several months investigating the probate court here in town, now the sheriff's office. Yeah, I mean, of course you'd be a little worried about that. Having never met this person, you don't know who they are, but we've absolutely got to go. There's no other option. When I got out of the car, a group of armed lawmen were waiting. Lawmen who spent years in the shadows of the sheriff's office. One of them, Lieutenant Trevor Murphy, the leader of the Marlboro County Sheriff's Major Crimes Unit.
There's no more smoke screens, no more anonymous tips, anonymous letters, no blurred out voices or blurred out faces. This is Trevor Murphy from McCall, South Carolina, telling you what's happening, what's been done, and why it needs to change.
The others were afraid to be identified. Trevor Murphy, though, stepped forward.
My guys met and we talked and we said, look, now's the time. I know bringing it out is going to probably cost me my job, and it is what it is at this point, but now's the time. People are paying attention. Now it can't be covered up. I believe when you took my phone call and I presented stuff to you, I wasn't told, okay, I'll look into it, and nothing was done. You looked into it and you got the public's attention.
They'd had it with the sheriff. Long ago, the group decided to go public and handed over a stack of police reports. The first report in the stack. This is body camera video of the May 2020 jailhouse tasing of Gerald Johnson. This video was kept from the public for nearly 2 years. Then days before we met the lawman, someone in law enforcement texted the video to Trevor Murphy.
When the cuffs come off and he made a motion to bum rush the sheriff, the deputy made the absolute right call in deploying his taser to stop that assault, which he did. The problem came after that. That deputy, who was clearly shaking on the video, clearly this is a situation he hadn't been in much, he was very excited, is trying his best to give lawful commands for that person to get in their cell. Every time that person tried to get up off the floor and make a motion towards the cell, that deputy was instructed by the sheriff, pop it to him, meaning deploy your taser again. And I think he did that 4 to 5 more times, even to the point where the man was lying in the cell on his stomach, naked. He was tased for no reason.
You had that deputy complete an excessive force report. You did something with this video to make sure the right thing happened.
I did. It was clear that it was a bad tase, and I told the sheriff that day, that's a bad tase. That's wrong. It was blown off. Nothing was done about it, and I realized that they weren't going to do anything about it. So tried to go around and get the right eyes on it. We contacted an ex-law enforcement. He was a current law enforcement officer at the time, but we contacted him through a anonymous number, and we contacted 2 media sources through anonymous numbers, letting them know, hey, there's a man at Marlboro County Penitentiary that's just been unlawfully tased. You need to look into the situation. Sheriff Charles Lemon was present. There's body cam footage.
Murphy says neither reporters nor the outside investigator ever responded. The video once lived on a squad room computer inside the sheriff's office. This recording isn't the actual body camera recording. Another deputy used a cell phone to record the original video after it happened. In the 19 months between then and now, someone inside the Marlboro County Sheriff's Office deleted the original recording.
Nothing ever came of it. It was never looked into. The sources we reached out to never sought us out, never reached out to us, never followed up, never requested the video, never requested anything.
Who do you go to at this point?
When you've reached out to people that are your outs, are your way out, and you're realizing we're telling these people stuff that's going on and they're not responding, we have no help. There is no safety net. You're taught in school, something happens, you tell the teacher. We tried to tell the teacher, and we didn't get the help we asked for.
Murphy says within the next few weeks, agents spent hours questioning him inside SLED's PD region office. Murphy turned the video recording over to us and to SLED in November. He also handed SLED a packet titled Lemon Laws, a 76-page document detailing what Murphy and the group described as unethical and criminal acts committed by Sheriff Charles Lemon and others. In the final interview with SLED in December,
There's so many hands on everything.
Murphy decided to audio record that meeting. He did so after he believed SLED agents were working to make a case against him.
You could go in there right now. You could go pick a crackhead off the street and go in there right now to that deputy room and delete any body cam footage off that computer whatsoever.
What are you listening to?
That's an interview I did today with SLED agent Mike Gifford on the packet I submitted to SLED a month or so ago.
What would they be calling you back about today?
They were, in my opinion, trying to accuse me of deleting evidence on behalf of the sheriff. The same evidence I provided them a month ago, along with other stuff. They're trying to say that they're insinuating that I deleted that evidence or somehow got rid of that evidence on behalf of the sheriff.
And Murphy didn't know it because SLED did not tell him then, but the state planned to ask the Marlboro County grand jury for indictments for what happened in this video.
At the time this happened, as I told them in the prior interview and as we provide them evidence on other cases, when stuff's happened at the sheriff's office, we reached out through anonymous sources and through third parties to try to get their attention and get their assistance on it, along with media outlets, and nobody bit.
Deputies charged Jarrell Johnson with resisting, assaulting, beating, or wounding an officer over the lunge towards Sheriff Charles Lemon in this video. Murphy signed Johnson's arrest warrant in May 2020, including the fact video existed. The lieutenant says he didn't delete the body camera recording and has no idea who did. Murphy says he told SLED anyone who's ever walked into the squad room is a suspect. And he took us inside to prove it.
I'm gonna walk you in the side door. We're gonna take one left and then another left, and we're gonna be in the deputy room, and I'm going to walk you to the body cam computer and show you how anybody off the street can access this computer and delete video footage, not even just a deputy.
Where are we now?
This is the deputy room where the body cams are stored and the footage is stored. There's the password to the computer if it was locked. By simply clicking on the video tab, you can see all the videos. With a simple right click on a file, you can delete, and it will delete it. That simple, video files could be deleted. For instance, you can go into this, body cam footage with dates, file 27-2001, right click, delete, and it'll delete it.
Wow. So there's no security on these videos?
Absolute zero security, and I have stressed that to the sheriff's office for years, and nobody's cared. So, that simple. And we've been in here 45 seconds. You could walk in, delete videos, and walk out. And nobody would ever know. And there's no camera system at the sheriff's office to document or add any security. No camera system whatsoever.
And 5 days later, on December 14th, the Attorney General's office presented the body camera recording to the Marlboro County grand jury. The grand jury indicted Sheriff Charles Lemon and former Deputy Andrew Cook, each on 1 count of misconduct in office and felony assault and battery. Both men pleaded not guilty at an arraignment in December.
I understand now why people don't trust the police when the police doesn't trust the police.
Murphy was not charged or formally accused of a crime, but admits he thought he would be. Thinking the state had turned him into a suspect when he rolled on the sheriff was a burden Murphy says he could not carry.
I took a leap of faith thinking that they would do the right thing, and now I feel like they're trying to implicate me when I had nothing to do with it.
What do you plan to do now?
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with law enforcement.
Has this eroded your trust in SLED?
Absolutely. I mean, I got a wife and kids, and I used to believe a lot in this job and what this job meant, and to the point where I was willing to give up my life in this job. But that's over. I'm done. It's over.
Coming up, a team of law enforcers building a case against the sheriff.
If he knew about me talking about things he's done in the past, if he knew about me going to SLED and going to other agencies about him, he would end my career. And there's nothing anybody can do to him about that.
After our final disrespects investigation aired, the sheriff's top investigator found an opportunity in the spotlight cast on Marlboro County. About a week ago, you sent this, lemon laws.
Lemon laws.
You also gave this to SLED.
I did. And I felt more comfortable giving it to you than SLED.
Investigations ended and murder cases unsolved.
We're working on several other investigations concerning allegations of your conduct in office. You have a way I can reach you so we can run those by you? I don't want to report that without you having a say, man.
And the sheriff's investigators walking away from Marlboro County.
Is that it, man?
Yeah. When our lost trust investigation continues after the break.